Hello guys, welcome to Riverside YouTube channel. In today's video, I'm going to show you on how you can convert this crypto app UI design to code using Flutter. Don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, and share. So the ID we are going to be using in developing this application is Visual Studio Code. Right now, let's open our Visual Studio Code. In my Visual Studio Code, I've created a new Flutter application called Crypto App. Inside my Crypto App, I have my lib folder, which has my components folder, my screens, my styles, and my widgets. So I also have my main.dat. My main.dat, the debug show check mode banner set to false. Our home is our splash screen, which is going to be our first screen. So I've also created another folder called styles. So inside our styles, we have color.dat. This handles the colors which we are going to be using in this project. Then typo. This handles the text style and the Google fonts. We are going to be using Google fonts for this project. So in our pub spec file, I've added my assets to the application. So I've also added Google fonts too to the application. So we are going using Google fonts. So I've also created a new folder called assets. Inside my assets, I have another folder called images. Then I've added the images which we are going to be using for this tutorial. So going back to our main.dat, our splash screen, which is our first screen. So let's go to our screens, splash screen. So basically what you can do is you can always pause the video in order to follow along and type the code. So right now, I'll be explaining what I've written. So inside our splash screen, we are returning a body. The body has a container. So we are setting the width to double dot infinity. It takes up all the available space in terms of width and the height. So giving it a decoration, we're giving it a box decoration of gradient because we are combining more than one colors. So we give it the begin alignment on top right, then the end alignment on bottom left, then the colors, primary color, secondary color, which we've defined here, our color.dat, primary color, secondary color. So going back again to our splash screen, then inside our container takes in a child class of image. So image.asset, the link where the image is, which is this, so asset slash image slash the name of the image, which is this. So going back to our Visual Studio Code. So also we wanted that after a duration of 3 seconds, the timer should proceed to the next stage. So which we've done here, void init state, then super.init state, all these stay inside the same method. Then the timer duration, we set it to 3 seconds. Then what should it do after? Navigator.push replacement takes in a context, and a material page route, and a builder which takes in a context, then redirects to the home page. So inside our home page, we have our home.dat. So right now, let me just run the application. Let me refresh this. So this is our home page. So it shows this our image. So it brings us back here to the home page. So I'm going to be explaining what we've done here. So right now, our home page, we're also going to be managing the state. So that's why it is stateful widget. So let me expand this. So I'm going to be explaining what each line does. So we are returning a scaffold. Our scaffold takes in a body of single child scroll view, which is this function which you're able to see here. So takes in a safe area. That's for this not to expand into the app bar here, because all this will wrap. This is inside a column. All this which you can see here is inside a column. So it has a child of column. So right now what we did is we named this. We created a custom top bar, which is this which you are seeing here. Our custom top bar. Right now let's go to our custom top bar. So widgets top bar. So right now this a row. So we are creating a top bar of stateless widget. So we are giving it a padding. So we are giving a padding. The padding just means space. So it's giving a padding to the left, top, bottom, and right. So we are giving it a row. It takes in children. So inside our children, we have the clipper rect. So what this basically does, it gives this our image here, this image here, gives it that circular radius, border radius, makes it. So we've added the assets name here, which is what we've done here. So in order to build the text feed, created a container, give it a width of 170, then give it a child text feed, then okay, unchanged, do something with, so anything you want it to do, you write the formula here. So we're giving it a decoration of cost input decoration, and giving it the prefix icon of icons dot search, then fill color true, int search, int text there's search. So if I remove this C, can see it reflects here automatically. So I'm just going to undo that back. Okay. So int text style, so colors dot gray. Can always define that pending. Can always play around with that. So we're giving it a border, outline input border. So let's see what that does. So give it a border radius dot border dot all circular, that is radius dot circular 12.0. Then enabled border also takes in an outline border. So we define this, the border, we give it the border side, set the color and the width, and the border radius again, circular 12, radius dot circular. So we are giving it a focus border. So it also takes in a border side and border radius, which all that we've done here. So that's for the text feed. Next ones we have here is our icon button. So our icon button, it takes in an icon, then unpressed. So you can, this inside our unpressed method, you can do something, what you want it to do once the button is clicked. Same thing for the notifications. So it takes in an unpressed button. So that's for the top bar. So going on to the next section, which is our promo card. So I'm going to also explain what that does. So going back, let's go back again to our home page. So we are done with the top bar. So the home page is promo card. So let's go to our promo card. So we've created another stateless widget called promo card. So inside our build method, we are returning a padding. What padding basically does, it gives it spacing. So we are setting our padding to edge inside dot only top 10, 20, no, left 25, then right 25. So we are returning a child. We are giving it a padding. It's taking a child of container. So we are giving it a height of 150. So the height of this 150. So we can always, let's, for example, let's say we increase this 250. So you can see how it is. So I'm going to undo that. So set it back to 150. So we're giving it a decoration of box decoration, border radius of circular, and then that gives it this curvy end. So our container is going to take in a stack because we have an image, then two text feeds. So we're giving it a stack. So what you remember what we said about click parent? We're giving this edges here. So click parent, where it takes in a child of image.asset, then the where the image is stored, which is here, image one. So this is what we are referring to. We've done that here. So border radius 20. So for example, let me change this to 1 so you understand. You can see right now it's looking square, more of like a rectangle. So it's not having that radius. So I'm just going to undo this. So it gives it this nice design. So right now also the text. So the first text is introducing metaverse. So what we just did with the text feed, okay. So introducing metaverse, we gave it a style of colors dot white, then font size 22, font width dot bold. So how we did, we wrap it inside the padding in order to give it some spacing too. So we align it to the top left. So we can always play around with this. For example, let's change this to alignment dots bottom center. Let's see what this does. So you can see it moves it down here. So I'm going to undo that. Back to top left. So right now we've declared, since we've declared, we have that file that's we've declared this formula. So instead we can just import that library. So right now it's showing const invalid const value. So what we just need to do is remove this const here. So that solves the error. So can always add it here instead. So that's for that. So the next one we have is okay. occupy meta launches in 5 days. So that's the second text. So right now, in the second text, now we've given it also a text style of colors.white. Let's change this to white, then remove this const value. So right now, what this alignment does, in my previous tutorial, I've explained this goes from 1, comma 1. So both x and y axis. So let's say 1, comma 1. So let's wait. So right now, it's more of like a graph. 1, comma 1. So let's take it back. So it's x. This means x. This means y. Let's take it back. Okay, so it's aligned properly back. So this is for our promo card. So the next we have here is this news. Join this text also. So what we're just going to do now is go back to our home page. So this is more of this in a row. If you can see, notice this is a container down here. So this container is inside a row. So going back to our home page, after the promo card, we have new row. So our new row takes in a container and takes in a padding. Remember I said padding gives it space. So we are using padding dot only left and right. So it's giving it padding space. Or you can also use edge insert dot symmetric. Then set it to horizontal. Still does the same thing. Does symmetric. So let's just set this to horizontal. So see, still the same thing. Gives it both spacing on the left hand side and the right hand side. So give it a container width media query dot off context dot size dot width. So it takes depending on your screen size. So that's what this does. So the height, by giving it height of 40, and decoration, I'm saying color white, which we've declared, remember, in our color dot that. So we've declared all this. So going back to our home page. So right now in our home page, we are giving it to okay. So we've done that's for the container. So what is inside here, which is in a row, it's wrapped in a row. So image. So this icon, this image here is called news. So we've added the image asset. Then we are giving it this spacing, which you can see here is we are using size box. So we are giving a size box width. Size box 2 can also take a width. So we are giving a width of 5. Then the text feed. Then news, which is this. Then the style, which you've also declared before. Then style small, which you've declared here. We declared here the color size. So this is our text style. So this is another way you can also declare your text style. So going back again to our home page. So color size box width. So this spacing here 10. Then we're wrapping it in an expanded widget. So it will take expanded widget. What's basically an expanded widget does is it takes up the available space. It occupies all the available space here. So we're giving it a text, which is this, then overflow. So this they are seeing this dot dot dot, this triple dot, that's what overflow does. So let's comment this first. Let's see what this does. So right now you can see because this is in an expanded widget, that's why it comes on here. That's why it's trying to take up all the available space. But so that's what overflow does. Overflow, it just a dot dot dot. It's on a single line. So the styling small, which we've declared before, our text style. So that's for that. So the next one we move on to is our card list view, which is this. Our card list. Let's go back to our card list. So which we have called card. So right now what I did in my card list view. So my card list view. Right now we are returning a size box of height 140. So this box here, height 140. We wrap it in a padding. So we're giving it edge inside dot only top and bottom. So the top 5.0, the bottom 15.0. So it's taking in a child of list view because we are going to have more than one card. So the scroll axis by default setting it to horizontal. So for example, let's uncomment this. So right now you can see once I uncomment it's horizontal. I mean, it's vertical by default. So right now, so I'm setting it to horizontal. We want it horizontal. So which we've done. So we declared our card, then the text which is by crypto, then the subtext, in the image as the image location, then the subtext, then your pressed method. So all this we've edited this for our card, which we've done here. So we've created another stateful widget here. So final string text, which holds in our text value, the image URL, and the subtitle, they are all strings, and the function that's for pressed method. So right now, what I did is also declare the constructor. So declare inside the constructor. So card is okay. Card state, extend state, boolean is tabbed. Okay, this if it has been tapped, now what you should do. So we are returning a padding of, okay, before I get to this gesture dictator and all this here, the padding, we are giving a padding, first of all, 8, left 24, right 2, bottom 6. So let me explain this before I show you about this drop down mining. So in this child container, it's taking a child container of width 210, then padding, inserts dot all 15, then decoration, border radius or circular. So this color on top is okay. If the primary, if the should if it's untapped, okay, this primary color that is. If else should change to white. The primary color is what we've defined in our color dot dart. So we are returning a row. Okay, cross access dot start. So then it takes in a column, which is this. So that's buy crypto with your credit card or other method. So it takes in a children. So we are setting cross axis alignment dot start. So what starts it? Main axis start also. So in our text widget, we are giving it a okay widget dot text which we've declared up there. Then soft wrap, set it to true. The max lines 3. We are giving it a style into text style, colors dot black font weight bold, font size 15. Then the height box, the height between this subtext here. So that's text, we get the subtitle, then max lines 2, we set it to 4. What this max line does is that instead of everything being on one line, it keeps on breaking. So that's what we did here for. Then text like overflow, what we've said before, in case it overflows, dot dot dot, which we did here. And we set the styling again. Then the image asset, image dot asset, the image URL, widget dot image URL, we are giving it an height of 50. So what we basically did is this right here is in a column. The text and the subtext, I mean subtitle, it's in a column. So this column and this row and this one, this image file, we wrap them, they are in a row. So this is like a row, column, row. So this column is inside the row. I hope you understand that. In case you don't, can leave it, can let me know in the comment section. So regarding the drop down, once you click on this button, there should be a drop down that shows a modal bottom sheet. So show modal bottom sheet. That is, once you click on this button, it brings about this and it changes. If you remember the on tap, it changes this color. What we did, we basically gave it an height of 200, which is that what you were able to see down there. Then we give it a column. So the column takes in, so you don't need to, the column takes in a widget. Then give it a padding icons linear scale. That's the icon which I was using, this icon here. So it takes in a widget. So const edge insert all. So list view children widget. So we are giving it a list style. So it takes in a text. So the list view, inside the list view, you can have list styles. So it takes in a text of express, then the style font weight dot bold, then the subtitle buy and sell crypto in few tabs, trailing icons dots arrow forward iOS. Then on tap method. So what we want to do, we want to tap it. So said once you tap, for example, this takes you to the Express page. So we are going to get to that area. So that's for the Express. So the list type for the second one, the P2P. So it's also the same thing what we did there. We set the navigator dot push context material page drag builder then exchange. So it's going to another different screen, which is different from Express. So coming back to, so that's for our show drop down menu, which is this. So going back to our container, which is this here, which we have up here. So what I did is I wrap this my container with a widget called gesture detector. So on tap, you should set state that is tapped equals to not is tapped. So that is if it's not tapped, so it does all this. So that's what this set state is doing. So it should the context. So going back up, so that's the code for this for the card view. So that's for that. So let's go back to our home page. So the next we have on our list is this headline. So I've created, so this headline top crypto new listing, then the divider. So going back to our headline, so let me expand this. We are returning also with padding. Oh, and remember we're giving it spacing, left, right. So remember you can also change this to symmetric since it's both on the left and right hand side. So we are giving this a row. It's in a row. Main as this they'll start, so it will always start from here and takes in children and takes in a text called top crypto, this first text, then the style. Give it this still our primary code. You can either write this is how you can write X code. In for example, what I mean by X, if you want to add an X color code, so you just type in this 0xFF, then you paste this code here. Once you paste the code here, so you can see that's what it does. But I've also declared this, but I'm just going to change this to primary color. So let's change this primary color. So right now, okay. So automatically it has imported up there. I had to remove the cost. Okay, I mean cost size box. So that's for the top crypto. So I'm giving it a spacing, so which I'm using size box, giving it a width of 25. That's giving it space. Then new listing, then the text type colors.gray, font width dot bold. So that's for the headline. So let's move on to the next step. So going back to our home page. So after this, our headline, which we've declared as headline, so we are giving it a divider. So our divider, we're giving the thickness of 1. So we can always play around with this. Check. So see how it is if it's 3. So let's change it back to 1. So that's it. That's that. So the next one is crypto header. This crypto last price change. So this also what we did is also give it a padding, left, right, top, bottom. We are returning. What we basically did here is we wrapped this in a row, because what we did here is all this is in a column. All this here is in a column. So but this top here, it's inside a row. So that's why we are giving this row made as this dot space between. So the row is inside our column. So we have our text widget. The first one is crypto. So we are giving it a style of header, which we've already declared in our typo.dat. In our typo.dat, okay. So in the hour, we are giving a spacing of size box width 10. And the last price, still header. All this we've all declared them in our typo dots. That's so header, the color. So last price, then change header, style header. So right now we're also giving it a size box of height 10 before we now work on this our crypto list. So this is our crypto list right now. This we've created another widget called crypto list. So let's look at that first of all. So going back to our widget, so named it crypto view. So the class name is crypto list. We have already declared the classes which we need: final string image parts, string text, string subtext, double, that's for last price, string change, this change here, then the color of the box color, and the text color, which is this white inside. So we are returning a row. In order for us to build this, we have to first return a row. This, we're working with this first of all. So inside our row, we are giving it cross-axis alignment. So cross-axis does start. So it's taking an image, which is this image here, which I commented out, which is in comments. So that's image parts because we've already declared, okay, we want to store this as image parts. We've declared that here. So we are giving it an height of 45, this image, the height of 45. So the next we have here is BTC, Bitcoin. That's in a column. So the column is cross axis alignment or starts, takes in children. So children, inside the children we have text. So the first text is BTC. So then the style subheader, which we've also declared. Then the size box height 2, the distance between this. And it takes in a subtext Bitcoin. And the style is small. So then that's for that, because if you notice all this is in a row. So this in a row, this image you're seeing is in a row. So these two here are in a column. So both of them wrapped together are inside a row, are representing inside a row. So the next thing we have is this. They are also still inside the row. We are creating another row called text. So this is what we are using to refer. Okay, you should put this dollar sign into relation. So plus last price. Last price is what we've declared above. String last price dot to string. So it takes this double value and converts it to a string. So that's what we're doing here. Then it's type price. Then the size box, I'm giving it a width of 35. You can always play around with that. You can always try different things there. So I'm giving it 35. So the container, in order for us to do this, we are giving it a container. This is a container. We are decorating the container, saying container color, box color, which we've also declared up. That is the color which this will take. Then border radius dot circular for, that is this edges, the radius here. And inside we are giving it inside our container we have a text. So the text we are giving it change, which is this minus 3.04. So whatever we input there. So the style is text color, which we've also declared in our styles folder, so which you can check there. So that's that. So we've already declared how we want this to look like. So going back to our home page, so crypto list. So right now our image part, we've set it, our text, we've set it to BTC, subtext, Bitcoin, last price. So we are just putting in the value. So why, yeah, you just kept 40,000 automatically, it add dot zero here because it's a double. So the change, which you can see here, we just put minus 3.04, automatically converts it to white since we've declared the box color red and the text color to be small price. So we're giving it a size box of height 16. So the other ones is just the same thing which I've just done. I just change the name. So the other one's Ethereum, price 546, color, box change. So that's for that. Then we're giving it after each a constant size box of height 16 up until this. So this is another custom button. So Right now, we've created a custom button because we want to use, why we're always creating separate widgets in case we want to use since we are going to be using the code in other places. So right now, I've created another button called custom button. So going to our custom button, we're going to our widget folder, we have a feed, okay, our component, sorry, called custom button. So all this basically does, it takes in a string of text, which is this text which we have here, then double width. So I want this, whether it should be to take up the whole screen. So those are the things we declared our constructor. So we are returning a container. So width, I've set it to width, what we set there. Then decoration, the color should always be the primary color. Then border radius dot circular 8. Then it takes in a child, our container takes in a child of material button. So our material button has an unpressed method. Then it takes in a child, our material takes in a child of text. Then we set the text, then the style, color white, then font width dot bold. Also, this text style, you can always create that in our styles folder. Or that I didn't do. So going back to our home page. So let's see what is inside this our custom button. So the text takes in a text of view more, then the width I set it to 180 based on the design here, which we have here. So that's for that. Going back to our Visual Studio Code. So let's see. Right now, the next is the bottom navigation bar. So going back to our Visual Studio Code on our home page. In our bottom navigation bar, so declared okay, set bottom up bar. We're giving it colors dot white, then size box. Let me show my, then the size box, so colors dot white, so which we are seeing here. For example, let's change this to colors dot gray, see what this does. So you can see right now the size bar showing as colors dot gray. So let's change it back to white. So it's back in white. So these are our size bar. So by giving it size bars of height 56, then width should take all the available widths depending on your screen device. Then we are giving it a padding. So this is a row. What we have yet in a row. So inside our row, we are giving a main axis the space between. Then it takes in children called icon button bar. So this also is custom. So let's go back to our widgets. So bottom nav bar. So icon button bar, which we've created, it's also a widget, stateless widget. So we've given it a string of text, an icon, data of icon, that is what you use for icons, icon data. Then boolean, true or false. So selected, then void callback, that is once you press it, unpressed. So we are returning a column, then this icon here, then the text. So main axis alignment dot center, children icon button, then unpressed, which we've declared, icon. So it takes in an icon, then size of 25, then color. Okay, if it's primary color, else colors dot black 54. So depending on the shade which you want, and it takes in a text, which is this text down here. Then give it a text height 12, then height set it to 0.1, which is the same thing as 0.1. So the color, if it's selected, it shows primary color. If not, that's for the text. If not, colors dot gray with opacity 0.75. So right now we've declared this already, the icon button bar. So going back to our home page, inside our icon button bar, so right now we've set the text. The first text is home. Second, the icons dot home, then selected. So right now we've declared this up here inside our state. So int on selected index. So it gets the current index. We're setting it to 0. When we start counting from 0. So coming down here, start from 0. Also, selected index equals 0. So on pressed set state. So we are setting it okay to 0. Same thing we just did. So the other ones too, we just incremented it. Okay, this one 1, 2. Then we are changing the name of the text and their icons. 3. then 4. What this does is right now, so it changes the state and the column which we've declared already. So on the next, which you are going to be going now to, is our express screen. So right now, once you click on this, remember I've showed what this does. That this in our card view it changes, it brings about this here. So once you click on this on the express, it brings you here to this screen. So going to our UI design. So we have express, okay, buy, sell. Now this our top bar. So going back to our Visual Studio Code. So, express. Inside our express, since we have a text feed there, which we are going to be typing in, we also want it to have a controller. What we've done here is text editing controller underscore mini controller. So that is this for our text feed. We've declared that, so equals text editing controller. So right now we're returning a scaffold, and inside our scaffold, we're returning a body of safe area. Then giving it a padding, symmetric. Okay, let me show my device. Giving it a padding, yeah, it's inside a column, it's wrapped inside a column. So our column takes in a cost size box. That is the height there, 15. So all this is going to be wrapped inside a row. So right now, what we are doing basically here is, let me expand this. So I'm going to just expand all this here. So what this basically does is, okay, right from here, which we have before, this is our body. This up, what we have up here is our custom, it's our top bar. So I'm going to be explaining the body, then let me also explain the app bar first of all. So right now in my app bar, I've created a custom app bar, which is what we have up here. But I'll explain this body first. So this body, we are wrapping it in a safe area, so it won't be up here. So it won't, for example, let me remove this safe area and see what, so you see what it does. Okay, because right now we set our, I'm going to undo that. Right now, because we've even set our hub bar, so it's not overlapping there. So basically in our padding now, what we are going to be doing is we are setting the edge inside the symmetric horizontal, so 25. Then the single child scroll view, so we can have, so once you click on this, that it brings in, for example, keyword. So right now it's not showing any error. That's why because of this single child scroll view which we implemented. So that's for that. Okay. So we are giving it a size box of height 15, distance between this, then a row, this takes in a row, and the row is image.assets, assets images, then error, that's our image, where our image is stored. Then give it a constant size box of height 10. Then we are putting in our text, which is ngn. So we wrap this in a column. This also is also in a column. These arrows which you can see. So arrow forward, then arrow back. Also in a column. And this also here is also in a column. This is our USDT image. We've declared our image assets where it's stored, then height 10, and giving it a text of USDT. So, and all this is a column. These three columns are all inside the row. All inside this row which we have here. So going down, we also have another custom. So we are through with this up here, which this row here. And this we are going to focus on this other things here. So I want to buy, I want to receive. All these also are wrapped. This row up here, this top row is wrapped inside the column. So the next which we have is our text box. So our text box, we've also created a custom text feed. The widget got custom text feed that takes in an input controller, an int text, and text input. So going back to our custom text feed, so it takes in a string of int text and a text inputs and a string of text input. And we've created our constructor, which is what we can see here. So it takes in our constructor. So this is it. So we are returning a column, then cross access alignment of starts. Our column takes in children and text input, which we've declared, and the style, text feed. And another size box 8 takes in a container height, this container here, and takes in our container takes in a text feed. So inside our text feed, our controller, which we've set to controller input controller, so it takes in an input controller because final text editing we've declared all this up here in our stateless widget. So takes in a decoration, input decoration, then a field, set it to true, field color, set it to white. The int text takes in an int text, then its style, colors.gray with opacity 0.75. So content padding, I want it to be. So it's giving it, we set it to symmetric 20.0. We're also giving it a focused border. It takes in an output input border. Then the border side, we're giving it a width of 1.0. The border radius of circular 10. So we have the enabled border. So it takes in an outline border side width 1.0 and border radius dot all. So that's for our custom text feed. So going back to our express.dat. So the next we have there is, so after our custom text feed, after we've inputted input controller underscore main controller, which we've done here already. We've declared up there. So the next thing we did is after we gave it a cost size box height 20. So that's the distance between here. Then we open this. So it's controller. So we are giving this both I want to buy, I want to receive the same controller. So anything we type here, it will also automatically apply here. So EE. So right now, because it's still the same input controller. So in case we don't want this, we have given it a separate controller. We have assigned a separate one. So let's just do that up there. For example, let me just copy this. So just paste. Okay, copy. So let me change this to max controller. So I'll have to go and declare this. So max controller. So right now, once I type here, now it's not typing I want to receive. So let me type here again and see. So we can type different things. So that's for that. So under our custom text feed, under this, so I'm inputting a text of the price, USD, USDT, then the style, text type, font size. I'm also giving it a size box, distance between here, 25. So remember the custom button which we've created before. So I'm giving it a custom button, the text by USDT, then the width should take up the available width which we have. So giving it a size box again of 250 in order to create this help button. So our button takes in children, then floating action button, then unpressed method. So in case you want to write any method there. Then our background button is our primary color. Our child icons.app, this which you can see inside here. Then so the other things you can also write inside tooltip, then your hero tag inside this your floating action button inside your child. So we're giving it a container. So this and giving decorating the container color, giving it a primary color, border radius dots horizontal. So this design which we did here, just giving it the radius dot circular left. And design we only made this left side curved. So our text we're wrapping it inside in a padding. So we're giving it edge inset dot all 8.0. So the text how to get started, our style color, we're giving it color of white. So that's for our express. So going back, okay. For our express, I haven't talked about the custom app bar. So coming back up in our express. So we've created a custom app bar, which we have declared here in app bar. So going back to our custom app bar, we have app. So right here, what I've basically done is I've created a custom app bar. Also this buy and sell toggle, which does this. Once it's on buy, it's white. Once it's on sell, it's red. Once you click on this drop down, you can always switch. So I'm going to be explaining this. First of all, let me first explain the custom app bar. So our custom app bar tag is a stateless widget which implements preferred size widgets. Then that's over. Then it returns an app bar. So we're giving the app bar colors the transparent. We don't want any transparent color there. So elevation 0. Then the leading button, which is our this icon button, icons dot arrow back iOS new, then the colors dot black, then on pressed method what we want it to do. So navigator dot of context pop, just want it to pop, it takes it back to the previous page. So our actions, we're giving it a this which we have here, this which we have here is our custom drop down menu. That's for our actions. So our icon button, icons dot more vet, which is this which we have here, and the colors dot black, then on press method to handle menu button press. That is when you click on this, what you want it to do. So our title, we are setting it to buy sell toggle. So once you click on this, so looking at the method, so we have our buy sell toggle to overwrite get preferred size dots from height, then the key to bar height. Okay, so let me expand this. So in our buy sell toggle, so it's since we are changing the state, it's a stateful widget. We are creating a stateful widget. So we are setting the boolean to is buy selected true. So what we basically did, yes, in order to do this, we created a row. We are returning a row. Main axis alignment dot center. Then the children. I will explain this what this gesture dictator does. So we are giving it a children. Inside that we have a container that takes in an height of 40 and width of 80. Then we're giving it the box decoration that okay. Color is by selected, which we've declared up here. If it's true, white, else colors dot gray 400. So the shade. I'm giving it a border radius dot only top left and bottom left. So that's circular 25. This is just for the border radius. So we are giving it a child. These are our text, we're centering it. So we're centering the text, we're wrapping it in a widget called center. So give it a text by, then the text type color if it's selected, black, else white, then the font size 18. So what this gesture, we are wrapping this our container here in the gesture detector that okay, the text once you tap it, so that's why we're setting our states. If it's by selected, set it to true. That's when it does all this. So it's monitoring the state. So for the sell button, also is basically what we just did here. So if this is true, or the gesture detector will be looking at this as false. So same thing width 80 height. So if it's selected, soft white, else red. So just gave it the border radius, then the top right, bottom right, then the text cell. And we also declare the text style. If black, else white. What this means if else. So then font size 18. So our custom drop down menu, this which you are seeing here. So this is also a stateful widget because we're also changing the state. So right now, we first declare the currency string selected tech currency. First of all, is NGN. So right now, we're setting the final list that takes in a string of currencies: NGN, USD, EUR, GB. So right now, we return a drop down button and we set the value to selected currency. Then the items on the currencies dot map takes in a string of currency. Then they return our drop down menu value, takes in the value is currency, which we declare there. Then the child text currency. Then we convert it to a list. Then on change, say the string. Then value. Then you set the state. Then on selected currency equals value now. That's for our drop down menu. That's the method. So that's for this, for the express. So let's go back to our P2P, trade directly with PS. Once you click on this, comes here. So going back to our code, so that's our exchange. So inside our exchange, what we are going to be doing is going to be looking at our exchange class, exchange stateless widget. Okay. So we are returning a scaffold. So our app bar, custom app bar. So we import this, which we've already done in the previous. Just import that there. So our body is in a safe area. Then single child scroll view. Then we're giving it a padding of edge instead of symmetric. Then our child, our column, which is all this here, which what we have here. Then takes in a size box height 15. So the distance between this. Then the row, we have this, we're wrapping this here inside the row. That's our USDT. We gave it a decoration of style, decoration, the text that's underlined, and the decoration color. What we just did, we just underlined this USDT here, which we have here. So we gave the rest width 35. So we just repeated that same process for each of the texts with 35. Text size box of width of 35. So that's what we just basically did there. So then the OCU, after that, after this, we give it a divider. So divider, we give it a height of 1, which you are able to see this line here. So inside our divider, we now have our coin. So in our coin, we've created a widget called coin. And inside, we have our image file, text, price, amount, limits, naira, order, pay image, PayPal image. So let's look at our coin widget. So inside our coin widget, we've created a string of image files. So we've created all the information which we need here. So going over our method, we are returning a row. First of all, this which we have up here. Our row takes in children. This children. Then the column cross-axis alignment of stats. Then the image.asset, this image here which you are seeing this B. And size box, we're giving it this box, this spacing between this boy PTC, and takes in a text which is boy BTC, which we've written there. Then takes in a style font width dot bold. So then takes in an amount. Then this is the amount here. Then takes in the limit. Amount then limits. Then the next one again is a row. So our row takes in this down here, which we have here, our image, the pay image, which is this, and the paper image. So then we give it a size box of width 15. the distance between these two images. So image data set paper image. So that's for this. That's for this side here. So all these here it's inside a column. All these are inside the same column. So we are giving it a spacer, which we have here. Then working on this other column here. All this again too is also another column. Then we give it the text cross axis element dot end, main axis element dot end. Then takes in a text of order, then price. So text order, price, Naira, and the style. So we're giving it a primary color dots, primary color, text style. So container, this container here, what we have here, we are giving it the color, primary color of, we are giving it primary color, which we've declared. The color is primary color, border radius 5, in case you want it to be curvy. Then takes in a material button, our container. So our child, the child of our container is material button, then a text of buy, which is what we have here, and colors dot white. So that's for that. So let's go back to our express exchange. So what we basically done after we've done the design, now we've imported each image file, text, price, amounts, widget. So once we import our widget file, we just declare this, we input this. So we set our divider, this tiny line here, which we've done. Then do that for orders. And after each of your widget coin, you input your divider, that's which is this line. So it makes our code easier to read. So the next one which we have after this is our post and add. So for our post and add, we have a size box. So the distance between this our coin is 20 height. So it takes in a color, this color here, which we have here is colors dot gray. And we give it a padding of edge inside dot all, so 16. Then our container takes in a child, which is a row. So our row takes as children. So we are giving it main axis alignment does spacing boolean. So inside our column, we have a text, which is this post and add. And we give it a text style of font size 18, then font weight dot bold, and the size was the distance between these 8.0. Then text, buy and sell all your crypto by posting an ad. And we give it a style of text style, font size 12, colors dots gray 600 depending on the shade. So this our material button on pressed to undo any buy button press, color green, which we've declared. Our text color white, the mini width set it to 10, don't want it to be too big. So the child takes in a child of buy. Same thing we did for our material button for sell. So we have our color cell, which we declared text color white, mini width 10 to child text. So and the size box, just the distance here, 10. Session below. That's all for this tutorial. I will leave a link to the source code down below. If you have any questions, let me know in the comment section. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe if you haven't to enjoy more of this content.